What's good, Phin Nation? Welcome to the number one show at FIU for the Dolphins, Phin Tank. It's your boy, Big Guapo Rodriguez.
I'm Alfredo, the leader of Tuanon.
And it's your boy Ant. Just Ant.
And right now we on Zoom because we currently do not have a studio to use. Oh, yeah. It's just Ant this week.
No truth.
No truth,
But yeah, man. Kicked out of the studio. Just like the Dolphins looking like they're about to get kicked out of the playoffs.
Oh, yo. What a transition, bro. What a transition. All right, but before we get into all that, we got to talk about next week's game against the Bills. Man, I don't know. Like, the Bills, they just got off a really important win off the Jets at home. It was the weather looked horrible, and it's expected to get worse for next week's game. So I really just can't say much. Plus, it's the Bills.
Yeah. They got another big division win, man, and yeah, like you said, they had awful weather in Buffalo, which concerns me going into that game, considering that we've played in relatively chillier cities the last two games and have looked really bad the last two games. Even in LA last night or on Sunday night, you know, it's a dome stadium, but the sides are open, so I don't know how big a factor the weather played. But yeah, I'm definitely really concerned based off what we've seen the last 2 weeks. I'm incredibly concerned now.
Yeah, for me, I just think that the Dolphins look like a completely different team in these last two games since coming off the bye week, pretty much. And the Bills are starting to pick up steam. Like you said, another big win against a division rival. And it would have been good to see the Jets win that game. But at the same time, it's also good that they lost just because of the playoff seeding and all that. So, yeah, this is going to be a big game. I don't have such high expectations for the Dolphins right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if you guys remember, but I think in the earlier weeks of November, like late October as well, the defense had a couple of down weeks, and it was the offense picking up the slack. Like the offense was the one keeping us in those games. I feel like it's the complete opposite right now, man. The offense looks nothing compared to what they did anywhere at the beginning of the season. And heading into the Bills game where you're going to be playing in some snow, probably cold rain too, which might be worse, honestly. I'm incredibly concerned. I'm not really that hopeful for this one.
For a team like this, you need to be at your 100%, and the Dolphins are just not right there. They're not there right now. I mean, they haven't been for the past two games. I mean, just last night, Tua had 10 out of 28 pass attempts that were completed. I mean, for the most accurate quarterback in the league, that is not good. That is garbage stats. And the last game wasn't any other better against the 49ers.
Yeah. I was saying last night that Tua's best trait is his accuracy, and it looked so off yesterday. And it surprised me how off it looked. Like, just mistiming throws, throwing balls behind receivers, throwing them too far, which is a surprise considering that apparently he has no arm. I don't know what's going on. But against the Bills, he has to be like peak, like Lions game Tua to be able to get us a win, because it's looking tough. Despite their defense being a little depleted, they're not going to have Von Miller. But the Bills are no joke regardless. They're a Super Bowl contender for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And if Tua just for some reason can't get back to his regular passing rate, they need to establish the run game, because they established it last night late in the game, though. I mean, they were getting off a lot of carries. Tua got in some rushing action. I mean, 3 carries for 28 yards in, 4 games? Yeah, I mean, if Tua just feels like he can't throw or underperform, then they have to make those changes. Mike McDaniels has to make those changes of like, all right, we're not doing good in the air, so we gotta establish ourselves on the ground. We gotta be using Raheem Mostert a lot. Jeff Wilson, we know we can use him. He's dependable, right? We only used him for 4 carries for 26 yards last night. That cannot happen. If we know that we're not gonna be able to pass the ball, we need to start running.
Yeah, but that's the problem though. I don't think you can have your quarterback feeling like he can't throw. Like in my opinion, you're in a dire situation if that's the case. Like, yes, establish the run game, but don't use that as your fallback when your quarterback is playing terrible. You got to get to a straight. regardless of what's going on, or if the run game, or if we can establish a run game or not. At the end, like after all this, he's still our guy. Our offense goes through him. And as much as I love the guy, like a lot of this falls on him. He didn't allow the defense to get much of a break. They were on the field for a really long time yesterday. And if it's anything like that next week, and you have to have the defense constantly defending like they did back in week 2, the Dolphins are going to look at a third straight loss.
Yeah, for me, that's a good point about the defense. I just felt like the offense barely had any possession time. They kept showing it on the screen. Like at one point, the Chargers had like 23, the Dolphins had like 7. So yeah, the defense tired themselves out, and you can't have that. And then yeah, like you said, Tua has to be a lot better. That's very obvious, but I think that McDaniel can put him in some better situations. But at the same time, it all has to work together at the end of the day. So, this next game in cold weather, I think like Esteban said, you do have to establish a run game. But it's going to be important to see Tua making those throws, being accurate once again, and getting Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill the ball. Those are your two superstars. They're going to make plays happen whenever you get the ball to them. So that should be the focus in the next game. And you never know what could happen. If it goes to a shootout, you have Tyreek Hill, who's going to burn everyone like he did in this game. You have Jalen Waddle, who can do the same thing. So you just want to see your superstars give you a shot to win a game.
Yeah, one thing that concerns me though is that over the last 2 games, I want to say, I don't know if it was just the entire offense or Tua specifically, but they looked rattled. This is the first time that this current Dolphins team faces adversity under Mike McDaniel. Like the Tua stuff in the beginning of the season when he missed those 3 games with a concussion, like nobody expected the Dolphins to really be the same team after that. But when he came back and we started looking like the team that we expected to be, I think people kind of question the sustainability of that. And now now we're starting to see the Dolphins are facing adversity. Now, I'm a little concerned about how that's going to go with a rookie head coach, not having experienced something like this before. But, I expect McDaniel to sort this out because of how smart he is as a human. So, yeah, I'm still really concerned though that this team looked visibly rattled, and that's what concerns me heading into a game like this, because this Bills team has experience going all the way to the AFC Championship and in the playoffs. This is nothing new to them. This is something very new to the Dolphins.
Yeah, as a first year head coach, Mike McDaniel has been pretty solid, but it's been on a decline these past few games, and he's always had this confidence that he said he instilled in Tua, and that seemed to have made a difference in itself. He didn't last year Tua didn't have a coach that believed in him, wanted him traded for Deshaun Watson, and didn't really use him as much. And whereas Mike McDaniel has that confidence in Tua. Now, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. It could be some in the locker room behind the scenes stuff, but something's happening to Tua's. I feel like it's his confidence. Really, he's starting to lose it. So Mike McDaniel needs to figure out a way to bring it back so that we can have our Tua back and start winning some games.
Yeah. I heard he might possibly be playing injured, which wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, because these throws he's missing are like throws he was making regularly before the Niners game. So I don't know what it is, but we have to sort that out. It's a short week too, because it's a Saturday night game next week. So yeah, I'm extremely concerned. But yeah, on the Bills side, like you guys said earlier, they picked up another win, a huge division win that they needed, and that gave them a 2-game lead on the Dolphins. So it's looking really scary if we come out of this game with the loss. I mean, we're gonna be at 8-6 if that game does end up being a loss. With 3 games to go, definitely no chance of the division. It's looking really scary. I don't know if you guys want to get into predictions already for the next game.
I mean, I just want to talk about how next week they said that there could be 1 to 3 inches of snow on the field. And the only thing I can think of is when the Patriots were playing the Bills on that snowy game, and no passes were being made whatsoever. Mac Jones ran the ball, and I feel safe knowing that we have powerful 1-2 combo with Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson in the backfield. Although I don't think this team has ever played in such uh, difficult or critical weather before.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be another challenge out of just to add to the whole stack that the Dolphins are facing right now. And for a very important game that could dictate whether they make the playoffs or not. It's a very crucial
Yeah.
game that Miami has to at least perform well at.
I think if it comes down to it, we might even the way Mike McDaniel's has handled this team so far, we might even see a situation where Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are getting some carries.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with you. The run game is going to be huge considering the conditions that this game might be played in. And hopefully McDaniel can do something to throw off that defense. But honestly, what I'm expecting is Mike McDaniel to draw up a bunch of short throws, throws that Tua should be completing to try and get his confidence back because he very much is a confidence player. And maybe that's not necessarily a good thing, but if you get him confident, then your chances of winning skyrocket.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the tandem of running backs is going to be big in that next game. Um, the one thing is, I think Jeff Wilson did leave last game with a hip injury, so hopefully he'll be good to go next week. But if not, I honestly believe in Myles Gaskin. I know he's been on the bench all year. He's gotten a few carries at the end of games, but he can come in and he has starting experience. He started a whole year, so I think that if worst comes to worst, you need Myles Gaskin to go in there. He's a serviceable running back, and like you said, Raheem has been solid. So if Jeff Wilson's not gonna be able to play, I think those two, along with Salvin Ahmed, like, will be okay. And then yeah, just short passes, reverses to Tyreek, reverses to Jalen. Those will work. Trent Sherfield as well. We have a lot of speedy guys on this field on the team,
Yeah.
so I think that's a recipe for two in the game.
Yeah. All right. So we're talking about winning games or losing games. Well, what are predictions? Huh? What are we feeling?
I'm not gonna lie, man. When the game was done yesterday, like when they put the dagger and they put us away for sure, I thought, okay, we're gonna go into the Packers game 8-6 on a 3-game losing streak, with 3 very winnable games to go at the end of the season, and I'm gonna stick by it. I think the Dolphins are gonna drop this one as well. I think the Bills, they've been looking like the Bills again lately. We're playing in Buffalo in terrible weather, and I just find it hard to believe that you're gonna beat the Bills twice, despite how good the Dolphins looked before this. So I'm gonna say there's gonna be a 31 to 20 win for the Bills.
31. You think it's gonna be high scoring?
We've seen high scoring games between these two teams in Buffalo in cold rain, borderline sleet. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. That snow is really getting to me. I mean, I don't think there's gonna be any. I think it's gonna be complete opposite. I think there's gonna be absolute almost no touchdowns. All right. I don't think anyone's gonna attempt a field goal, depending on wind. So I think Dolphins. I do think the Dolphins aren't gonna win this one. All right. They're not gonna beat the Bills twice in one season.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's gonna be that high scoring. I think it might be 7-14 if the Bills get that second touchdown. If not, it's 7-10.
As big a factor as the weather might play, I don't see it enough to stop these offenses from doing their thing to an extent. So yeah, I still think the Bills are gonna comfortably win this one though.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I think I'm going 17-10, Bills to win. And yeah, I just think that Josh Allen proved in his last game that he's also a threat on the ground. So I think they have a little bit of an advantage in that area. And yeah, I don't think that Tua's going to be able to redeem himself this game. It sucks that this last game was one of the worst of his career just because of who it was against. The guy who all Dolphins fans want to say he is better than, but I don't think he's gonna be able to redeem himself this week. He already has a win on Josh Allen, so can't get too greedy with that, and we just gotta look till to next week. I think this is gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, I mean, if we can by some miracle come away with a win, then I think we're in absolutely good shape, and we can just put these last 2 weeks down as just bad weeks. But this came at an awful time in the season, and I agree. I don't see Tua or the offense bouncing back this game, so it looks like all our eggs are gonna have to be on the Packers, Patriots, and Jets to close out the season.
Yeah, but before we get into that, we need to start talking what about what happened last night. I mean, it's not at all what we expected. I mean, we were facing the Chargers. It was another important game for Tua that he just did not perform well, or underperformed. And, it just, makes you think, like, can Tua win these high-pressure games?
Yeah, man, it's the second time he gets put on prime time to prove himself against an opponent that I don't want to say he has some history with, but that there's definitely big controversy around. Against Brian Flores and the Steelers, didn't really perform. Now against Justin Herbert, the guy was taken after him. There's been so much talk over the last couple of years about who should have taken who, whether the Dolphins made the right pick or not with Tua. I think the jury's still out on those two picks. But what an awful time to convince the national media that the Dolphins made the right choice. Awful way to try and do that.
Yeah, seriously. Like I said, it couldn't have come at a worse time. Just because Tua has had better games than Justin Herbert this year. And last night, if this was your first time watching both quarterbacks, you would not think that. Herbert was playing amazing. The whole first half, he came out guns blazing, and he was just throwing dots on the run. He did get sacked a few times. Our pass rush was good, but he exposed Xavier Howard. Kader Kohu made some good plays, luckily, that saved the Dolphins some extra points. But yeah, I think that Herbert kind of like showed he's in another tier than Tua in this game, and it sucks because, like I said, Tua has played better than him in some games this year. So if it wasn't for that lucky Tyreek fumble recovery, the offense would have looked a lot worse. They would have put up 10 points possibly.
Yep.
Luckily, he did throw that bomb to
I
Tyreek,
agree.
so.
They kept their offense looking awful, to be honest. The defense, though, I want to give them credit because I thought the defense was good to keep us in the game. And they were on the field for so long. The Chargers had so many possessions, and it was so hard to just, find a rhythm when the offense was keeping the defense out there. But, man, Xavier Howard, man.
Jeez, bro, my guy.
You cannot... No, we're going to get up to my guy soon, bro. It won't be just on you, but you cannot tell me he hasn't had an awful year, bro. He's been getting cooked on the regular, man. And it's not even by receivers that are, like, the upper echelon receivers in the league. Like, he's just getting baked in general by anybody right now. Anybody with decent feet is making him look like a below-average corner. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about it on the broadcast. They're like, they don't know what's happening with Xavier Howard. I mean, when you talk about Xavier Howard, you think of like he has one of the most interceptions, one of the best coverage in the league since he joined. And this season, it hasn't been looking like that at all. He's been looking worse than a rookie, bro.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's just unfathomable how bad Xavier Howard has been playing this season. I mean, he comes up with a few gems, a fumble recovery for a touchdown there, an interception here, a blocked pass there, but it's not consistent. And I think that's what made him so good, is that he was consistently good through most of his career. And this season, it's just been happening like in glimpses.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might still be the injuries from the beginning of the season, to be honest. I don't see any other reason why he's been this bad. I can only draw it up to him having consistently been injured at the beginning of the season. But it's going on to now my guy, Tua. I think most of this falls on him. Yeah. This is on him. He's missing throws that he makes consistently on a regular basis. So because of that, we had like what three and outs in the first quarter yesterday, or in the first half. At least that's what it felt like. You know, um, he keeps the offense out there. The offense isn't getting. I mean, the defense out there because he can't stay on the field. The offense is in no type of rhythm. He's underthrowing, overthrowing, throwing balls behind receivers, intentional groundings that just ridiculous decisions that he's making. You know, like he's looking arguably worse than he did his rookie year or his second year. You know, it's concerning. Like I said, I know he's a confidence player, but if the drop off from when he's playing confident and when he's not is this big, that is wildly concerning in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with everything you said. That he had to have 10 completions in a game is is pretty bad. Like you have to be pretty bad for that to happen. And we know Tua isn't a bad quarterback, and he's allowed to have some bad performances. But this they were without Derwin James. They're not the best defense like we played last week. So this was pretty inexcusable in my opinion. He just couldn't get his playmakers the ball. You saw he only had Tyreek put up numbers just because of that bomb, pretty much. But other than that, it was a horrible throwing performance. The offense looked horrible compared
Yeah,
to what they've shown in other games.
yeah, and
Yeah.
didn't Jalen Waddle wasn't even getting in the game either. His preferred target, in my opinion, what did he have a catch in the first half? I don't think so, right? He didn't have his first
Mm,
catch until the third
no,
quarter.
he only had
Yes,
two receptions the whole game for 31,
yeah,
which is not too bad for me. Two receptions, but still, man, you got to use your guy.
yeah. That's the thing too. Like we're not finding a rhythm. His your best skill players aren't getting put in position to make an impact. You know,
Yeah.
and like all of this at the end of the day has to fall on him, and he knows that. I mean, he's saying that in press conferences. He's taking accountability for it, but at some point, you know, going into a press conference and saying this is on me, we're gonna improve. That's not gonna be good enough. Like you have to do something about it on the field. And in my opinion, you got to do it quick because if you're in a position where you were 8-3 in a position to even win the division, it doesn't look like you're anywhere near that now. So yeah, this falls on him to get us back on track and lock up a wild card spot at this point.
I mean, and we also got to give credit. I know we were talking about how the 49ers defense is the number one and the Chargers isn't really that good, but we got to give credit to the Chargers defense. I mean, they were ready. All right, Brandon Stanley was ready for Tyreek. He was ready for Jalen Waddle. So, yes, Tua was making bad throws, but the defense was also covering, like locking them up.
That too.
It was
Yeah.
nowhere near. It was very difficult for Tyreek to get open.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had man and zone coverage on. They had double coverage on Tyreek. Brandon Stanley was ready for this game, and the Dolphins just weren't. They were still probably feeling bad, boo hoo about the last game. Oh, we suck. We're not good. No, we can't be thinking like that. All right, we're going into the Chargers home. The Chargers are 6-6. We are a 8-4 team at the time. We need to start playing like it. We need to start playing like we were ahead of the division, like we just beat the Bills. But, they weren't. And it's all just a matter of that mentality. The Chargers wanted it. The Chargers had that better mentality going into this game.
Yeah, and yeah, that's another thing. That's a good point you brought up about the receivers not being able to get open. That also, what we know about Tua is that he's gonna make quick throws. You can't really allow him too much time to hold on to the ball because if the blocking breaks down, we know how scary it is for Tua to take those hits. So the receivers can't get open within 2-3 seconds of the snap. You might as well blow the play dead. I know the Chargers defense was incredibly undermanned. They had backups all over the field, but you're right, they showed up, and that's what concerns me, is that they were extremely prepared to a T for Mike McDaniel's offense, and if it's even figured out, then I'm incredibly concerned because it's back to the drawing board at this point.
Yeah, for me, like you said, I don't think they came out fired up enough. The game was pretty much over after the first half. Even though by the points, by the score, we are still in it. Like the Chargers were just playing completely different than we were, and it was evident. Literally fell asleep watching this game. So I think that proves that this team just didn't have like that fire under them, and they should have because this was a big game. Got flexed to prime time. It was a chance for Tua to show the world that he deserved that to be that fifth overall pick, and none of it happened.
Yeah, we can only hope for the best coming from here on out because I don't think any of us really have answers to what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, heading into next week, we need X playing. So if he can do half of what he's looked like over the last couple years, that's good enough next week, man. That's a
Awesome.
huge improvement. We need Tua firing, and we need Christian Wilkins in peak troll mode, man. We need that guy going after Josh Allen at all costs.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Christian Wilkins was the one star of this game.
And Jalen Phillips.
Over the
Jalen
Chargers.
Phillips, too.
And okay, Jalen Phillips as well. I mean, yeah, that call of Jalen Phillips when he got the that roughing the passer,
Yeah.
that was a booty call. All right, sorry, man.
That was the cleanest tackle I've ever seen, bro. Perfect
It
form.
was textbook.
Yeah, kept his body away. He tried to keep his body away from Justin Herbert. It was a clean textbook tackle. And if we're gonna be calling that roughing the passer, man, I think quarterbacks are way too protected.
I think if we're gonna be calling that roughing the passer, and I'm scared for Milano, because he's the one that put Tua in the concussion protocol in the first place. And did you see what he did last week to Mike White?
White.
He literally airborned him.
Yeah, the rib shot, right?
Yeah, man.
The one that put him in the hospital.
He literally picked him up, bro.
Yeah.
Like he literally picked him up.
Yeah, I mean, bro, he's the one essentially that started this entire downfall.
Yeah.
The first, the one that gave Tua that original hit to the head. So, and you know how those things feel in the cold, man. I'm a little concerned.
I just hope I don't think it's not gonna happen at all. But I want Tua to just like stiff arm the living daylights out of Milano, bro. Put it like start dribbling him type, bro.
I mean, if there's anything we know about Tua, he's not scared about a head-to-head contact, man.
No, bro, we're not head to head, man. You stick your arm out, bro.
That brother is not scared of a helmet-to-helmet collision, man. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I respect it.
The Jalen Phillips play, I actually had texted you guys. I had texted you guys the let's go, but I didn't. I had the volume off. I didn't know that it was called back, and then the next thing I see, they have a first down. I was so confused, but he looked good.
He looked great yesterday. Almost had a couple block punts as well. Jalen Phillips has been balling all year, man. I love that guy.
So yeah, we need. Our defense has been showing up. The offense is just what needs to pick up the pace.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can get it back. Because I know Mike McDaniels is a creative play caller. It cooks up something completely different. But if it's been figured out, man, I'm scared.
Man, what we need is what the Lions did yesterday with the having the lineman in motion for the screen.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
we need stuff like that. We need stuff like that, bro. We need some Dan Campbell action, bro. I never thought we need to go back to the originals, huh? The OGs, remember?
I mean, they do also have a generational O lineman in Sewell, so I don't think we have someone like that, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I want to see a big guy. Well, I want to see a big guy just make the pass. It's Armstead, bro. Yeah, try tackling him, bro. Try bringing him down.
Yeah, he's paying all that money. Gotta go run routes.
Yeah, bro. He gotta be drilling on the cones this week.
All
right. Anyways, yeah. Is that it? Is that all?
Yeah, I got all my thoughts out on Tua and X and everybody else thinking it up. I'm upset and I'm worried, but whatever, man. I'm back in this team until the wheels fall off.
The wheels fall off. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Phin Tank. It's your boy Esteban Big Whopper Rodriguez.
I'm Alfredo, the leader of 2 and On.
It's your boy Ant. Hopefully I'm the truth next week. Well, hopefully not, because I picked the Bills.
What do you mean, hopefully, bro?
Yeah.
Yo, hold on. Before we go, I just want to say, read Anthony's articles because he didn't say it, and shout out Jason Tatum because he didn't bring him up.
Yo, wait, you want to shout him out though? Like you just brought him up.
No.
Brought him up, bro.
No, I know. But we gotta do it. It's
a lot of
customary.
bad game. Just
Shout
like
out Jason Tatum.
Oh my god, bro.
Thank you guys for watching. Shout out Jason Tatum. Shout out Switch the Field.
Oh my god, bro. Alright, guys. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.